Okay, so today we're going to learn how to deal with unsummarized data in a spreadsheet. And what you're looking at is the salary list of every player in Major League Soccer, starting with Anatole Abang, a New York City Red Bulls forward, making $68,927 per season. So this is useful information if you cover the MLS, knowing what each player makes. But it's not particularly useful when you want to know, say, which club has the highest salary bill, which club has the highest average salary or median salaries. You can find clubs that have large pay disparities between the top and bottom player. So when we have data like this, what we need to do is we need to summarize it, and we're going to use pivot tables to do that. So pivot tables in Google Sheets are under the data menu, and then you go down to pivot table. And that's going to pop up this screen here. What we are attempting to do is we're going to put some data over here into rows, and then we're going to add values over here. So let's say, for instance, we wanted to know which club had the highest salary bill in all of the MLS. In other words, the team that is paying the most out for salaries overall. So in our rows, we're going to click add, and then we get to choose between the headers of our spreadsheet. So we could figure out which first name got paid the most. That wouldn't be particularly useful, or last name got paid the most. What we want is the club. So we're going to essentially group all of the clubs together, all the players for each clubs into this. And you'll notice right away there's a few little weird ones in here, like the number one is blank, meaning there's some players in here that don't have clubs that were paid salaries throughout the season. There's also retired. I don't know which club that is, but they're probably not very exciting. And there's a few other things that we won't get into now. But that gives us our rows, and already you can see over here that it's sorted by ascending order. So we now want to add values to this, and we're going to use total compensation. And right away, it drops in a whole bunch of stuff. So over here, what it is doing is summarizing total compensation, and we have options of how we can summarize it. Count A, which is count if a certain condition is met. Count them all, like we want to know how many salaries they're paying. Count unique salaries, average them, the maximum salary paid, the minimum salary paid, the median salary paid, and then a few others here that are just not that important for what we're looking at. But right away, it defaults to sum, which conveniently is exactly what we want. Show of, it would do the default, percent of the row, percent of the column, or percent of the grand total. In this case, we don't want to do any of that. We want to just leave it as the default. Now what we have is we can see that blank, no team, made $1.49 million this past season. The Atlanta United paid out $11 million, $11.6 million in salaries. Chicago Fire, $15.5 million, and so on and so forth. Now, we could go through here and eyeball this and try to find the team that had the highest salary bill, but that's a waste of our time. What we can do now is look at this club row and sort it by the sum of total compensation. And what it does is puts it in ascending order. So the lowest paid people are people that didn't have a club. Retired is your second lowest paid person at $1.6 million. And on we go. We have FC Cincinnati. We have up through Toronto FC paying out 26.6 million dollars in salary compensation to their players. So Toronto FC, your most expensive team, LA Galaxy number 2, Chicago Fire number 3, NYCFC 4, and LAFC 5 in that order. Just to note, Atlanta United was your ultimate MLS champion, and New York City Red Bulls down here had the best record in the MLS during the regular season. So that's pivot tables. Now you can add more values if you wanted to see more things. You could add another salary compensation or total compensation and look at the minimum, maximum, medians, you name it, whatever you want to look at. So pivot tables are enormously powerful once you learn how to use them. In this case, we can find out which is the most expensive team in the MLS.